Hi Aces! Welcome back to our Vegas Aces YouTube channel. My name is Angela Marie and I'll be your host for today. Every chip you touch, every bet you watch, every spin you launch, the eye will be watching you.
Every step you take, I'll be watching you.
This video shows you how to run the game from start to spin, handling buy-ins, spotting bad bets, and looking cool doing it. Step into the dealer's seat and discover what it takes to own the game. But before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you'll always be notified of our latest videos and live streams. Now, on with the show. The first step to learning how to deal roulette is to learn how to play the game. Click here to watch our video on how to play roulette, as that information will not be covered in the following videos teaching you how to deal the game. Please keep in mind that every casino is different, so make sure you know your house rules. When buying in, never take money directly from the player's hand. Always have the player place the cash on the table and then pick up the money from there. If they start waving bills around, just smile and say, "Sweetie, this is an amateur hour." The player must always place the money on the table before the dealer can pick it up. And on the same note, the dealer should never directly hand the player money or chips, specifically from the dealer's hand to the player's hand. The dealer will always place the chips on the table for the player to pick up. After the player picks up the cash off the table, they will place it on the apron, which is the area of the table with no markings on it, located next to the bank. Do not count down the money on the roulette numbers or on the inside of the roulette table. If the player tosses cash on the layout with no intention of betting, call out "no bet" and bring the money in to make change for the player. If the player wishes to bet with cash only, they may do so on the outside bets only. Spread the cash so that the stack of money is not folded and that the eye in the sky can see it clearly. Call out "money plays" loud enough that the floor supervisor can hear you. If the player tries to bet cash on any of the inside numbers, simply tell them "no bet." Then silently judge their life choices. Money plays is not allowed on the inside bets. Change the cash for chips so that the player can wager on the inside bets. Slide out the stacks of chips equal to the amount of money received and call out "change" loud enough for the floor supervisor to hear. Never turn away from your game when calling out "change", as the dealer must keep their game in view at all times. Each player will get a specific colored chip that only that player will use. This helps the dealer know which chips belong to which player when completing the take and pay procedure. One player can use only one color at a time, and no more than one person can play that same color. If the player asks for multiple colors, politely inform them that they may only play with one color. During the original buy-in, a player must purchase one full stack of 20 chips. But afterwards, the player is allowed to purchase short stacks as long as their play is continual. The casino prefers it if the player uses roulette chips instead of dollar value checks. However, if the player wants to play dollar value checks on the table, they are allowed to do so. This includes red $5 checks, green $25 checks, black $100 checks, and so on. If more than one player is betting the same color check, one of these players must exchange their checks for the colored roulette chips. The dealer will mark up a colored roulette chip with the dollar value of the check that that player wants to play. This will avoid any confusion during the take and pay procedure. Now, most roulette chips have a value of $1. However, some casinos may offer 25-cent or 50-cent chips. Roulette chips will typically have the roulette table number on them. So if the dealer is dealing on RO05, there will be an 05 marked in the center of that table's roulette chips. This tells the dealer and the management what table those roulette chips belong to in case a player walks off with them, and this way they can be returned to their respective table in the future. Now, we will discuss marking check value in detail in a later video. When giving players their chips, the dealer will push their stacks of chips to the player using specific chip and hand placements. We'll discuss pushing chips in more detail in a future video as well. However, you can find a guide on our website, vegas-aces.com. The following pictures are from that guide, and it focuses on the placement of the stacks and where the dealer should place their fingers. This skill requires time and practice to learn. If you'd like some hands-on practice, during your break you can go to a dead roulette game and simply ask the floor supervisor if you can practice pushing checks. More than likely, the floor supervisor will agree to this, unless they're busy with a difficult player or a high roller. In fact, most casinos expect their dealers to practice this skill and to develop their muscle memory. As the players finish making their bets, the dealer will case the layout before each spin, making sure that all bets are positioned correctly and can be seen clearly. Straighten up bets and clarify the value of the chips being played. Be aware of every bet and who is placing those bets on your game. The dealer will verify that there are no bets over or under the table limits, and that there are no bets that can be misinterpreted, and that there is no high-value checks placed anywhere in the betting area. Now, if the table minimum is $5, that means the player must play $5 on each of the outside bets, as well as 5 $1 chips on the inside of the layout. The player cannot just play $3 on red and $2 inside and call it good. That's not an acceptable bet. They must play $5 on red and 5 $1 chips on the inside where the numbers are. Now, if a player bets $100 black chips inside, notify the floor supervisor by calling out checks play. Always keep your bank in view and never turn your back on your bank. Cheaters will try to distract the dealer with things like a spilled drink, causing the dealer to have tunnel vision where their bank or parts of their table are no longer in view. The columns and the third dozen are the most vulnerable sections and should be watched much more closely because of it. Always keep your eyes on the layout. The outside bets are closest to the player and more easily obtainable if a player decides to cheat. The dealer should also take note of which bets are placed where and how much there is. For example, the dealer will find it odd that a $30 bet just turned into a $105 bet on the first column, and that will alert the dealer that the player may be cheating. This technique will help the dealer in the future if someone tries to pinch or past post their bet. Pinching is when a player cheats by removing chips post-spin. It's also how they'll feel when surveillance catches them, like a sudden, embarrassing, and very public pinch to their ego. Technically speaking, pinching is when the player takes money off their bet, while past posting is when the player adds more money to their wager. Pinching and past posting typically happen after the outcome has been determined, and the cheater can either cut their losses or increase their wins. Now, the term past posting originates from horse racing, where a sound indicates a call to post, meaning no more bets can be taken. Any bets made after or past this time are considered past post. We'll dive deeper into this in a future video because cheating comes in so many flavors that they deserve their own episodes. There will be times when a player will ask you to place a bet on a number that they cannot reach. If they do so, the dealer will simply place the chips given to them on that number. This usually happens when the player is on one end of the table and they just can't reach the number on the other end of the table. Now, in doing so, the dealer will always clear their hands first and repeat what the player says. This is known as booking your bet. Announce all actions you're completing in a loud and clear voice for all to hear. There will be times when a player throws a few chips your way without giving you any instruction, just expecting that you moonlight as a psychic with telepathic powers. If you're feeling snarky, you can thank them for the tip and watch them freak out as you take your money. I can all but guarantee that they won't do it again. By the way, those chips you see in this video, they're real defunct Fitzgerald's roulette chips and you can own one. Just $5 on our website. Grab a piece of Vegas history while they last. After the dealer has cased their layout, it's time to spin the ball. The wheel should be spinning at a reasonable speed. Not so fast that it's difficult to read the numbers as they pass by, but not too slow either. When spinning the ball, the dealer will snap their fingers while keeping their wrist straight. Try not to fling the ball or spin the ball incorrectly, as this can cause carpal tunnel or a cyst to grow either in your fingers or in the wrist. These cysts are painful and will need surgery to be taken out. That's why it's so important to spin the ball correctly. Also, make sure that the ball is snapped in the right direction. The ball should spin in the opposite direction that the wheel is spinning. Never snap the ball in the same direction that the wheel is spinning. The dealer should never look at the wheel when they spin the ball. This is to prevent the dealer from trying to hit a certain number or a certain part of the wheel, as that's considered cheating. It's the dealer's job to deal a fair and honest game. So instead, look at the layout when snapping the ball and never avert your eyes from the layout for the entire time that that ball is spinning. Once the ball is spinning, do not obstruct or stop the rotation of the ball. The only exception of this is that if you know the ball will not make its full 3 rotations around the wheel. The ball must go around the wheel a minimum of 3 times for it to qualify as a valid spin. If the ball cannot make its 3 rotations, call out no spin, take the ball out of the wheel, wait a second, and then spin the ball again. The ball must make 3 full rotations around the wheel to be a valid spin. Usually the dealer can tell right away if the ball will get 3 valid spins as soon as they snap the ball. However, the dealer will know for sure that the ball has gone around the wheel 3 times by either listening to it or by taking a few steps back to watch both the wheel and the layout at the same time. While the ball is spinning in the wheel, the dealer will watch the layout, adjust any misplaced bets, uncertain bets, or bets over or under the table limit. The dealer will listen to the ball spinning, and when it starts to slow down, the dealer will wave off the table. Practice and experience will enable the dealer to know when the ball is about to drop. A second or 2 before the ball drops, the dealer will sweep their hand over the table and announce no more bets. No transaction should be made during this time. Any bets made during this time will be returned to the player. By announcing no more bets, this will make it easier for the dealer to see if a player tries to past post. If the player requests change while the ball is spinning, let them know you will do so after the spin. Then wait until after the take and pay procedure before making change for the player. If the relief dealer taps you out for a break when the ball is spinning, you must complete this spin, including the take and pay procedure, before clapping out to go to break. You are not allowed to go to break while the ball is spinning before you have taken or paid any bets. As the ball drops, the dealer will take a few steps back and angle themselves so they are square with the game. The dealer needs to continue watching the layout as this is a vulnerable time for the game. Be particularly alert of the columns, dozens, or any of the outside bets. If there's any doubt, call over the floor supervisor. The dealer's body should always be aligned squarely with the game. By taking a few steps back, the dealer can see both the layout and the wheel at the same time. This alignment allows you to see the entire table layout at all times. Now, if the dealer turns their body, they won't be able to see parts of the table. The dealer should never have any part of the table blocked from view. The dealer should never turn their back on the game, even when calling for the floor, calling change, or during a dead game. After the ball has dropped, the dealer will glance at the wheel. However, do not turn your head and stare at the wheel, as this will cause tunnel vision. The dealer never wants to take their eyes off the layout. In order for the dealer to look and see what number was hit while avoiding turning their head, the dealer should take several steps back so that way they can see both the wheel and the table at the exact same time. Always keep the full table in sight, especially when quickly glancing at the wheel. Now, as soon as the dealer sees which number was hit, they will glance back at the layout. This will also make it easier to spot past posters. Timing is of the utmost importance when dealing roulette. The dealer should time the spin of the ball to the table play. The pace of the game is a vitally important factor when dealing, as speed is critical to the casino's bottom line. Keep the game at an even tempo, giving players enough time to make their bets, but not too long to slow down the pace of the game. On roulette, the normal pace of the game is 60 spins per hour. When snapping the ball, sometimes the ball will fly out of the wheel. There's no need to be embarrassed, as this is normal and it happens to the best of us. The more the dealer practices, the less it will happen though. Muscle memory is key. The best way to practice is, when you're on your break, go to the floorman who's supervising a dead roulette game and ask them if you can practice snapping the ball during your break. More than likely they'll say yes. A dead game is the perfect time to practice pushing chips or spinning the roulette ball. If you're on a dead game and you don't intend to practice snapping the ball, then take the ball out of the wheel and place it on top of the wheel head. There's a small indentation at the very top of the wheel that the ball can be placed in. Now, some casinos will request that the ball be taken out of the wheel and placed in a certain spot on the layout, typically near the bank or in between the stacks of roulette chips. If you're dealing on a normal game with players at the table and the ball flies out of the wheel, then the floor supervisor must inspect the ball before it can go back into play. That spin is void and the dealer will simply spin the ball again. One time when I was dealing roulette, the ball flew out of the wheel and hit a guy right below the belt. The spin was void, but his pain was very, very real. That poor guy didn't just lose his bet, he also lost about a decade of fun and good times in Las Vegas. Under no circumstances is the ball to be used if it has been touched or handled by a player or another person. Any ball that has flown out of the wheel and touched by a player must be given to the floor supervisor to be checked before being returned to the game. This is to prevent the ball from being switched with another ball that might have been altered in some way. How did you learn how to spin the ball? Do you have any advice for new dealers learning how to spin the ball? Let us know what you think in the comments so we can share our knowledge with others. Anyway, that does it for today's show. Thank you so much, Aces, for joining me today. And in the next video, you'll learn how to accurately and efficiently perform the take and pay procedure, identify and pay winning bets, maintain table security, and master essential math techniques for fast, mistake-free payouts. We have an announcement. We are currently hiring casino dealers and floor supervisors to write scripts for our how-to YouTube videos. We're looking for people who know how to deal craps, Pai-Gow tiles, or big baccarat. However, we need scripts for any game we don't already have a course for. Email us a list of games you can deal, how long you've been dealing or supervising, and a sample of your writing to heather@vegas-aces.com. Bonus points if you can be an actor and/or deal the game in our videos. Must either be located in Las Vegas or have access to a casino that will let you film at their location. Just a quick reminder, Vegas Aces is supported by viewers like you. Donations make it possible for all of these videos to be brought to you for free. If you think this video is worth more than $0, then please donate the amount you feel it is worth by clicking the link in the description below. Do you want to see our content 5 days early? Subscribe to us on Patreon, where we give our patrons exclusive early access and coach new dealers on how to get into the industry. The folks on the screen right now are our Patreon producers. Every single name is a person in the world who supports this channel, so we can keep going, and we're so grateful to them that they've allowed us to go on this really remarkable journey. Thanks everybody for being a part of this. If you can't afford to financially support us, then help us update our World Toke Board. This shows the toke numbers for casino dealers around the world. But we can't update these numbers if people don't contribute them. You can anonymously send us your toke numbers via our toke line or by emailing heather@vegas-aces.com. Also, if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. Our business also helps casino game inventors with developing bringing their idea to fruition and onto the casino floor. If you have a casino game you want to develop, email us. You can find a link to our email in the description below. And if you're looking for even more content, check out our other videos here on the screen. We also offer interview transcripts, flashcards, dealer instruction manuals, the world's first toke board, and so much more, all on our website, vegas-aces.com. You can find all of these links in the description below. Until next time, stay lucky, Aces.